Chapter 367 is not appropriate for a YouTube video. Please check the description if you want to read it. This is Chapter 368, A Scion of Many Worlds. The time has come, I do declare, to speak of other things, to shift the focus of this talk away from silk, weaving, and strings. The Urthani Trill speech language is an extremely formal, inflexible tongue with an absurd number of rules, and deliberately defying any of them is a level of informality that can be construed as hostile intent or a warning of danger, meaning a cause to panic and scatter. And a panic is something that Jasper has nearly caused regardless when he went from Urthani Tribal Village to Urthani Tribal Village so tall that most of the women need to stretch up their antenna to touch his chin. So powerfully built muscle-wise that his silhouette is completely distorted and unrecognizable. Furthermore, his wingspan is of a size that he had been mistaken for a young grand glider looking for prey, something that these women occasionally have to contend with. Something else to make an already naturally jittery race even more jumpy. I do declare that I do agree it is time to speak of other things. You have mentioned once, and now we may speak of what the future brings. The elder replies. To most people it sounds like they're just chiming at each other, but each chime is a contextual syllable with its tone, volume, and placement having meaning. If you're proficient in trill speech, you can get an entire lecture out in just a minute or two, but it takes years of practice, and in Jasper's case, it had taken several years with an advanced teaching algorithm while he had been a manual to master the language. I do declare, to you and all who listen as we speak, that I come with good tidings for what the future brings. Lost knowledge and riches to be returned shall soon be occurring. Jasper states, and the elder nods. Could you two speak normally? The secret language is hard to listen to. One of the tribe complains, and Jasper offers a smile without teeth to the elder. Very well. Pardon me for wanting to feel educated and wanting to have a conversation. The elder states as she claps her claws together with a wooden knocking sound. Don't feel too bad about this, elder. I've visited the 4 other tribes at this point, and so far, none of the average tribeswoman holds any appreciation for the old tongue. Jasper says with a chuckle as he reaches into his pouch and pulls out a pair of the semi-bitter melons he's found himself very fond of from Aridas Valley. He holds one out to the elder, who takes the treat with a smile and quickly impales it with her proboscis. Now, as I introduced myself earlier before we spoke of safe subjects such as trade and weaving, I am Jasper Emmanuel Skitterway Blue. I am the Martial Master of the Star Seeker Order. I am the conqueror of Miru, an ally of the Goldlands and the savior of Greenstone. I am here to speak to you of changes that shall be coming upon all of Lakran soon. It is my hope that, with an appropriate warning and knowledge of what to expect, that there will be a minimum of fuss and a lack of panic. I heard of you from Elder Granzi. She helped name you, the elder says after holding up her hand to stop him from continuing and then withdrawing her proboscis. She did, which is why she was the first I went to speak with when I needed to speak to the tribes. It was her that suggested I use the old tongue to greet the rest of the tribes, which has worked very well so far. How is she? It has been a few days since I saw her, but at her age, I've taken steps to help with that, Jasper says, and the elder stares at him. You need some tools in order to ensure things work perfectly, but it's entirely possible to heal even the ravages of time. You what? It's one of the things my people, the Undaunted, are bringing to this world. Healing comas. You go for a deep and true sleep and all your wounds wash away. In fact, the healing is so complete that there are certain tools needed to stop from healing too much. Healing too much? I've provided Elder Granzi with a memory-retaining headband. It will allow her to fully regain herself when she awakens. So you've done something to heal Elder Granzi, the oldest and wisest of all Urthani. I have. She grows younger as we sleep. It will take a week, perhaps 2, but she will awaken in the prime of her youth with the fullness of her wisdom and experience, Jasper says, and she stares at him. It had been easy to get a data chip compatible with his communicator sent from Horus. It had all the blueprints needed to put together a lot of medical tools and other such things. He had also shown the Star Seekers and midwives how to use the communicator, and both had been feverishly copying notes in order to not need to fight over the damn thing. Which is why his first major project for both of the groups is to make a communicator each. That way he can be certain of not only their abilities and understanding, but the mystique of the communicator would be well and truly shattered. There are few better ways to completely demystify something than to understand it from the inside out. I don't understand. How is such a thing possible? The elder asks, and Jasper smiles. I'm glad you asked. I've got this lecture down pat now, so... Elder, a stranger is coming. One of the tribeswomen calls out, and Jasper pauses. Were you expecting guests? I was not, she says, and he frowns. Perhaps someone from Bright Dawn seeking vengeance. A True's Empire servant might have also tracked him. The Eternal Queen of the Serpent Empire from the Trine continent might also be seeking him. Also, the last empire whose name he doesn't casually know is heavy in the slave trade, so a literal one-of-a-kind specimen might be too tempting a target. If someone is able to get him in chains, they'd be able to all but name their price and get it. He shakes his head to push aside the distraction and tucks away his still untouched melon. Oh no, there's no need for you to rise. I am the elder here. It is my duty to judge newcomers. I have a great many foes, honored elder. If one of them followed me here, then it is my duty to deal with them. Jasper notes as he withdraws his swords and belt from a hidden pouch in his cloak. The Axiom expanded sack had concealed both with ease, and he straps them on. He feels a little naked without his armor, but he was already pushing boundaries with his swords hidden on him. So, with only his cloak, a pair of long leather shorts that go down to his upper calf with numerous pouches in their side, and a black vest, in addition to his belted swords, he follows the elder out to see what may or may not be threatening these people, or possibly hunting him. You think there will be violence, the elder states. She does not question it. I hope not, but I'm a soldier. My duty is to be prepared for it. Jasper states firmly, and she nods. He follows her out of the tent, and she flutters to the edge of the massive tree branch to look down. The stranger is beyond the range of casual antenna use and a fair distance away. Female, of course. There's a fairly large pack on her back that has several things poking out. Could be weapons, could be things like maps or scrolls, perhaps a thin bedroll. Should we go down and say hello? Jasper asks, and the elder nods. Yes, she's unfamiliar, and we're very far away from normal trade routes, the elder says, and she flutters down towards the stranger. Jasper follows, and he flies with his arms crossed, but quick to snap towards his swords if he needs them, or snap out if his claws are more appropriate. A Foza, so his guard is up. He doesn't want to be racist, but the last one he met damn near killed him. He needs to prepare himself to move in case she lets out a blast of sound. But normal movement will just get him killed. He needs to teleport. Welcome. You're a long way from home, young lady. I am Elder Elise. May I inquire as to why you're here? Elder Elise asks, and Jasper gets ready to move if things go badly, especially as he can outright see the panic shifting through the Foza's bioelectric systems. She recognizes him in some way, and that means he has to be very careful. Is that Urthani of your tribe? No, I was born elsewhere, to a great spider, Jasper says, and the Foza blinks. Wait, what Elder Gronzi told me was true. Centuries while in slumber as a spider wept for you? My mother. It's complicated. The full story borders on the absurd, to be honest, Jasper admits. So these aren't your people? The Foza asks, and Jasper grins. I will defend them, but the only one I know is Elder Elise, and we met just this day, he says, and there's a flush of anger. Rein your temper, girl. I've already bested one of you. Must I make a habit of it? That brings her up short, and she frowns. What did you do with her weapons? I allowed another to take them. And the librarium? Pardon, the what? Don't be foolish. She had the librarium on her as much as the Saw Lancers, the Foza accuses. I'm not trying to be foolish. I believe we use different words to describe the same things, Jasper says. He's ready for her. If she attacks, he'll end her quickly. But she hasn't attacked yet, so he can't completely justify an attack. Furthermore, she's only looking for information, not threatening anyone. I see. If you're asking about the exotic tools Operative Scythe had on her, then the weapons were confiscated by a warrior with me at the time, and I have taken the data repository for myself. It's in a safe place. Data repository? She asks. It's generally called a communicator, but you people use them more like massive books to keep information in or things of the sort. I've added to the ones I've gotten, filled them with further knowledge, and also connected them more fully into the satellite network over the planet so they can be used as normal. Once we get a pylon set up in system, we should be able to use them to speak with most anyone in the galaxy, so long as they're in range. You know how to use them? I do. But no one knows how to use them, not without years of trial and teaching. She protests, and Jasper shrugs. Tell you what, I'm not going to be among this tribe much longer. Let me bring you to Auritus Valley, and there I will show you what I've been putting together. If I could have the empires calm down on their own and stop all the violence for a time, I'll consider it quite the victory. Will the librarium be there? She asks. Not only is it there, but another I've recovered as well, and I have 2 separate teams creating new ones. What? But that's not possible. The knowledge spirits within them cannot be made, only preserved and fed more information, she protests. Are you telling me that you have a large number of inactive communicators lying around? Yes? I think we can help each other, madam. I know enough about programming to copy the OS and applications on a communicator and place it in a blank one. You can breathe life into the stillborn librariums? The Foza demands, and Jasper nods. Easily. I do not believe you. She hisses, and Jasper rolls his eyes. Then accompany me to Auritus Valley regardless, so you may search for the missing one. And if I kill you now and seek it that way? Assuming you can kill me. Furthermore, violence is a very hard thing to walk back. It is an option that turns aside many other options. Jasper warns her, and her eyes narrow. Who was Operative Scythe to you? My cousin. She hisses, and he nods sadly. I'm sorry. If it's any comfort, she nearly won that encounter, he says, reaching down to lift up his vest and show her the black spot where he took the laser through the gut. Blazing light through the stomach is no fun. The Foza stares at the closed wound for a few moments before suddenly taking in a deep breath that gets cut off by a half-suppressed sob. She goes stone-faced afterwards and turns away to walk beyond a nearby tree, shaking a little as she tries to keep things contained. The sound of choked down and suppressed sobs is just as uncomfortable as someone openly bawling. Why couldn't she just be a monster I could kill? The Foza weeps to herself nearly silently. This appears to be my business, Elder. I will deal with her. But our conversation is incomplete. In summation, my people are coming. When you see great ships of steel flying in the sky and beings bearing this symbol. He gives her a piece of cloth with the symbol of the Undaunted stitched into it. Then know that they're friendly and will be willing to give knowledge freely as well as aid you in many other ways. Furthermore, if you need protection, then they will come if you call, but they must be here first. Is this the symbol of your tribe? For the sake of simplicity, yes, we are the Undaunted. I am merely the first here, and when the others come, there will be great healing in this world, I promise.